What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. This video is a shout out to one of my favorite fanboys of the hater on Cuervo Club, Mr. Nick Emery. Nick, thanks for suggesting this video. We're going to talk a little bit about rear brake setup, and here's a shout out to you. So today we had a picture posted of a rear brake setup using a Brembo caliper, a aluminum brake rotor, and a carbon fiber brake stay. So here we're looking at a factory piece. This one's polished out. And basically what happened is the aluminum rotor ended up being damaged and broken apart, and the carbon fiber brake stay broken as well. So I'm gonna show you a little bit about what's going on with that, but I got to show you this first. So with the brake applied, this caliper has slide pins on it. The factory caliper has slide pins because it only has one piston in it. So to help the caliper center, it needs these slide pins, so as the pads wear, it can stay centered. But when the brake's applied and you put pressure, it's going to be hard to see in this video, but as you put pressure, this caliper, when the bike's trying to stop, this caliper is rotating and twisting. So it's going to difficult, if not impossible, to see on video. Maybe stabilization will help, but this caliper is rotating. This area here is getting tighter, or this area here is getting further away. This area here is getting tighter and twisting. So that twisting from rotational force trying to stop that, it's causing it to twist. But that twisting is also putting a side load or a twist on the rotor. So I'm going to the Brembo setup where there's a solid plate. There's no slide pins, and the opposed pistons are self-centering. That is that setup doesn't twist as much, as well as having shorter pads. It doesn't twist as much, or doesn't twist freely, but there still has to be a lot of rigidity in the rotor itself. If the rotor twists too easily or does not have enough structural design integrity, where it can twist, it's going to bend and allow that caliper to twist more. Same with the mounting plate. If the mounting plate is not rigid enough, then that caliper is going to twist with that rotational force, and you end up with what we saw today with on atvdragracer.com Facebook page. You can check that out there. With the caliper and pad and brake kit all wadded up. Now, I'm really against the aluminum brake rotors. Aluminum in itself is not a great material for to take heat on like that. But there's a couple different ways to look at it. But basically, the design of the rotor had very little support in the mounting areas and in this area. Now this one here is fairly well cut out, but it's steel. Has a lot more strength in its mass. But the other issue is the carbon fiber. The carbon fiber flexes quite a bit, and same thing with its design. That plate in its design has very long mounting legs on it and allows that caliper to twist a lot. So you have problems with two things. You have problems with the rotor itself, as well as the material of the rotor wanting to kind of ball up on itself. If you've ever took a grinder to some aluminum and built any heat, you'll know exactly what happened to that rotor. So the rotor itself built up and started galling and rolling over on itself, but that caused a lot of load on the pads on the caliper, as well as a lot of heat. But ultimately, the layers of the carbon fiber is not, it's stacked in layers, how that particular piece was, and the layers started fraying apart by it twisting. So a lot of things went wrong with that setup. A lot of guys fighting an opinion one way or another of this is good or this is bad or this is what failed. But ultimately, there's too much flex in the system. The design of the plate is poor, and the material used is poor. So let me grab one of our aluminum plates. Let's see. So I'll show you a little bit about design of what I'm talking about. Let's see. So this plate here, this is our mounting plate for the Raptor 700, and that's what this particular bike was. So this is one solid machined piece, and in it being one solid piece compared to the one that broke that was carbon fiber, had these, hard to see, but these steps, those were individual pieces. So there's spacers, it looks like it's fine, but basically two things happen with that design. One is you get a shear or a twist having this being a separate spacer. So you have two different shear areas, one on each side of that compared to just a bolt through and then to the caliper mounts on this side. So that's a shear point. You also reduce when you just have this piece here, just the main body, and then this is a separate spacer. You have the same thing. You have less width. You only have that 6 mil width is probably the width they're using. You only have that width compared to I believe these are 440 or something width compared to the full width there, where adding this shoulder to that design in one piece adds a ton of strength to the whole piece, because this, adding just that little bit of shoulder width reduces the ability for this plate to twist through this narrow section here. So a ton of strength is added just in a small design element. And the reason I know this and the reason why I'm pointing it out is because we've made these plates before with the spacers. And in seeing them and in testing them, we quickly got them out of service because of that reason. Now, we didn't have any failures due to it, but it was more susceptible to twisting. So if this twists in this area, means this and this is separate from each other, and that caliper is going to twist. So the aluminum itself compared to carbon, a lot of guys think carbon is carbon fiber is a great material and it's super strong and all this, and that's not the case. It's a great material for certain applications, but not in torsional rigidity. Aluminum's the way to go in that aspect. These plates are not getting affected by heat. That caliper builds very little heat. So we talked about aluminum earlier in heat. Well, it's not transferred to this because that caliper is not building heat in this application. Whereas the rotor itself is building a ton of heat based off of friction and that material rolling over itself. So if you're watching at the end of this video, thanks for watching. Thanks for all the haters that keep me going. And we strive to build a better product. There's been a lot of guys who have a lot of guys in shops who have copied what we're doing, especially when we first did the Banshee kit with the Brembo rotor. Like right after that, We had shipped a few of those out, and then guys started copying them right away. And do what they will. They're doing them in carbon fiber. I've yet to see someone do it in aluminum. And the results of that are showing. So that's what we got going on today. Go check out that ATV Drag Racer page. Tell me what you think. And shout out again to Nick Emery. There you go, buddy. This one's for you.